Happy Monday, everybody. All right, so for today, for our reading focus, we are going to be focusing on foreshadowing, and you'll learn about what that means here in a little bit. But our objective today is we will be able to notice foreshadowing in a story when the text gives us pictures or clues of what will happen next. So, foreshadowing, what does that mean? Well, foreshadowing means when the text gives you a picture or clues of what will happen next. So, the illustrator might show in the book some foreshadowing. So, they might sneak a little picture in there that might tell you what's going to happen next in the story. Or maybe the author gives you some clues of what might happen next. So you might be guessing in your head, oh, I bet you this is going to happen next in the story. And I'm sure many of you guys have done that while you've read books. So here's a little song to help us memorize or understand foreshadowing. And if you've ever sang that song, she'll be coming around the mountain when she comes, that is the tune to this song. So I'm going to sing it once, and then I want you guys to sing it with me. Here we go. It's a peek of what will happen, foreshadowing. It's a peek of what will happen, foreshadowing. It's a peek into the future. It's a peek into the future. It's a peek of what will happen, foreshadowing. Okay, now you're going to try it with me. You guys ready? Here we go. It's a peek of what will happen, foreshadowing. It's a peek of what will happen, foreshadowing. It's a peek into the future. It's a peek into the future. It's a peek of what will happen, foreshadowing. Yay! Good job, you guys. Okay, let's get into this story. This is a really cute story called Substitute Creature by Chris Gale. All right. I wonder what the story is going to be about. Ooh, just by looking at this picture, I'm doing some foreshadowing in my head. I'm looking at some of the clues in these illustrations, noticing that she looks like she is a teacher maybe, and she looks like maybe the kids have been very naughty. There's some pencils stuck into the desk. She's got a paper airplane in her hair. It looks like they were drawing on the board, some inappropriate things, blah, blah, blah. Somebody's on fire. Uh-oh, somebody's sandwich got stuck. So there's gum stuck to her elbow. Oh no, look down here. Her shoes are tied to the desk. So I'm starting to think about what's going to happen in the story next, just looking at this picture. Dear students, I will be unable to teach our class due to a serious case of frazzling nerves. I've asked a rather special someone to make sure you are all well taken care of while I'm gone, and I certainly wouldn't suggest playing any tricks on him. Have a happy Halloween and good luck, Miss Jenkins. So it sounds like her students have not been very kind and being respectful, responsible, or safe at school. So it sounds like they might have a substitute teacher. And here's some foreshadowing here too. I see this shadow in the distance here. It looks like, I wonder what that is. Can you make any guesses of what you think that is? And then there's this little guy right here. Looks like a gnome. On a wind-swept day in late October, the students of Miss Jenkins' class arrived to a surprise at school. Substitute Teacher Day, announced Peyton. Amanda giggled and scribbled on the chalkboard. Luke performed a circus act. Gavin laughed like a mad scientist. Then, at precisely 8 o'clock, the door to the classroom creaked open. The substitute entered the room. I'm looking at this picture and I wonder if the illustrator is doing any foreshadowing here, kind of giving us a glimpse of who the substitute teacher is. I'm kind of looking over here. I wonder if you guys can pick it out. I see. Looks like a tail of some sort. Good morning to all. My name's Mr. Creacher. Miss Jenkins has asked me to step in as a teacher. She claims that this class has grown quite out of hand. So I'm here to warn you. We're taking a stand. Amanda snickered at the way he spoke. Gavin opened a fresh box of tacks. The creature glared. If you're plotting some mischief, please don't even try. In the back of my head, you'll find more than one eye. Luke drew an eye on his own forehead. Mr. Creature didn't think that was at all funny. Oh, there he is. There's an eyeball. Uh-oh, what is this kid doing down here? Attention all scamps, all rascals and fools. For 49 years, I've visited schools. I've collected some tales whose lessons are grave about boys and girls who didn't behave. They'll give you the goosebumps. They'll shiver your skin. Now pay strict attention. It's time we begin. And with that, Mr. Creature reached into his bag. Then he pulled out a tattered file. First, we meet Keith, a hungry young lad snacking on glue with a habit he had. He ate so much glue, no amount was too much, that he started to stick to all he would touch. Uh-oh. No one could find the boy underneath all of the objects that stuck to poor Keith. Uh-oh. Lots of stuff stuck to him. Cats and dogs and basketballs. Peyton's huge backpack fell over and a dozen glue sticks rolled out. Mr. Creature looked very unhappy. Have you heard about Sarah? She crammed all her stuff inside of her desk, but enough was enough. Her desk was so full that it started to shake. It rattled and lurched like a minor earthquake. Uh-oh, looks like it's gonna burst. Kids ran for their lives and the teacher threw fits. And then Sarah's desk blew itself into bits. Amanda passed a note to Luke, but Mr. Creature snatched it from her hands. Kyle, the artist, was always the best at drawing when she should be taking a test. When a dragon she drew looked so real it blew smoke. The children suspected it might be a joke. But the dragon was on paper, then leaped from the page. It tore through the room in a flame-throwing rage. Oh my goodness. Are you not yet convinced? Did I notice a yawn? In case you're in doubt, do let me go on. Listen up, have you heard of the daydreamer Zach? His mind wandered off when he took out his snack. So he failed to see the open cage door, and he simply ignored little tracks on the floor. Uh-oh, what do you think is gonna happen next? They're giving us a clue, foreshadowing. And no one else even noticed. In time, in time to shout, "Freeze!" that the sandwich he held was of hamster and cheese. Luke jumped when he felt a nibble inside his shirt pocket. Mr. Creature opened another file. Kate always carried her backpack with pride. It made a great place for her monkey to hide. Now everyone knows the no pets allowed rule when her monkey escaped and wreaked havoc at school. Oh my gosh, yes he did. Then the children all thought they should bring a pet too. Soon the school was a mess, and it smelled like a zoo. Yep, no pets allowed at school, huh? Oh, here's Hank. Case 114B1. Gavin quietly tied Amanda's shoelaces together. Mr. Creature scowled, then continued. Here he is up there, tying her shoes together. Now this impish fool, whose nickname was Hank, like most little boys, loved to pull a good prank. He brought in a guppy to enliven the class, but in days it grew teeth that would chomp right through glass. Uh-oh. His gumpy turned into a very large what? Shark. It wouldn't stop growing. Its gill became dark. Now Hank really wished he's not brought in a shark. Oh yeah, that would be scary. Mr. Creature passed and gazed upon the silent room. Then he reached into his case one last time. Chris, case 55923. And last, we have Chris, a mischievous sort with a fondness for thieving. I'm sad to report. It seems the poor boy liked to trick for his treats. Dressed like a monster, he scared kids for treats. Uh-oh, so thieving. Thieving means that he was stealing things from them. But then he stole candy from a magical gnome. Now the trick was on Chris. He could never go home. Never? Amanda gulped. Why? Whispered Peyton. Well, when he took off his costume, Chris saw the gnome's curse. He had 7 green legs and something much worse. A note explained how, for the rest of his days, he'd teach other children about wicked ways. So who do you think the little boy is in the story? Till he repaid his debt, a creature he'd be. And by now you should know that monster is me. Ah, so he was the little boy that the gnome turned into a monster. Cool, said Luke. I'm sorry, Mr. Creature, said Amanda. You're the best substitute ever, said Gavin. Mr. Creature spied the clock on the wall. It all happened here half a century ago at this very school. I thought you should know. Goodbye and good luck. Next, my time here is done. I leave you a gift. For each, there is one. Looks like he's giving them a candy. The students in Mr. Jenkins' class thanked Mr. Creature for the candy and promised never to torment their teacher again. Then Mr. Creature was gone. Outside, Mr. Creature looked in his case and saw that he had one last piece of the candy he had stolen so many years ago. He just needed someone to give it to. Then he noticed a small old man nearby who wore a funny, familiar hat. I wonder who that is. Mr. Creature quietly slipped the candy into the man's pocket. As the substitute creature walked slowly down the windy street, he noticed a sweet smell in the autumn air. It was the smell he remembered from long ago. His tentacles tingled as the smell pulled him forward, and the world started to spin around him. He began to run to a small house at the end of the street. Aha, what is he turning into? Looks like he's turning into himself again, huh? There his bike was still leaning up by the step, and his dog was still waiting on the lawn. Everything was as if he had never been gone. Chris was home. And he was just in time for a Halloween treat. The end. Cute story, right? Okay. So like we started to talk about at the beginning of the story, our reading focus is foreshadowing. So there was some things in the book where the illustrator showed us what foreshadowing was, and they gave us these little clues in the picture of what will happen next. And one stuck out to me in the story at the beginning of the story. And I don't know if you guys remember, but I'll open the book again and show you. I noticed, and I wonder if you guys did too, that in the beginning of the story, when it first began, they were talking about how naughty the kids were and how they were going to have a substitute teacher, but they didn't have a picture of the substitute teacher in the story yet. But they hinted here with this tentacle here that it might be kind of a monstrous teacher. So that is foreshadowing. They didn't say who the substitute teacher was, but they were hinting towards it in the illustrations. So I have a foreshadowing page. This is in your Seesaw activity. So I want you guys to also type this in your Seesaw activity. So you will complete it in there. And then, but you'll also draw your own picture in Seesaw. If you want to do this on paper and take a picture of it, that is 100% okay with me. So the story was called Substitute Creature. Oh, my pen's running out. Substitute Creature. And while I was reading, this is the foreshadowing I saw in the story. So the foreshadowing I saw in the story was that I noticed, and this is what you will type in your Seesaw activity as well, or write it on a piece of paper. Mr. Creature's tail coming in before him. Creepy, right? Super creepy that you saw his tail coming in. So that is what foreshadowing is. And so what I want you guys to do next is you will draw your own picture of that. So you can draw a picture of the substitute creature coming into the classroom, and you can get creative with that. Okay, so that is your activity for today. Either you complete it in Seesaw or you do it on a piece of paper and take a picture.